Joining me now is Damon Hewitt. He's the president and executive director of the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law, and he represents several members of the Capitol Police who filed suit against Trump in 2021 of August. Let's start, Damon, with an update on the case. What progress have you made in court?
Well, we have fully briefed what they call motions to dismiss. Trump and some of the other defendants want to get the case kicked out of court, and we have vigorously defended that, and we're waiting on the court to decide. In the meanwhile, as some of the criminal prosecutions happen, there have been some delays or stays in the case as Oath Keepers and Proud Boys and others whom we have sued are prosecuted in those cases.
So I want to be clear for folks who are watching that the Lawyers Committee is not involved in the lawsuit that is filed by Officer Brian Sicknick's family. But you all are making similar arguments, and that is that President Trump was ultimately responsible for the violence that day. So how closely are you watching the family's case, but also the special counsel investigation into the former president?
Well, look, our case was filed over a year and a half ago. There are other cases as well that are of smaller magnitude. We're watching all of them, and folks are talking to each other. Of course, in these cases, the lawyers on my team who are litigating this case watch it every single day. What's important to remember, though, is it's not just Trump, right? It is the fact that it's so many involved. We've alleged a civil rights conspiracy, and we've also alleged that those who knew about the conspiracy, who could have stopped it, didn't do so. So there's kind of a double liability that we have alleged in our case. We think that success in our case could mean success in other cases as well, but we're not waiting on the political process, which we know is a dead end. We're also not waiting on the prosecutorial process either, because there's so many trade-offs there. We need this civil rights liability in federal court as well.
We could have a whole conversation about not waiting on the prosecutors. Your lawsuit is one of several others that also argues that the former president violated what's called the Ku Klux Klan Act.
Right.
Talk about the role that white supremacy played in the insurrection.
Well, look, this is what this case is all about. You know, when we are defending democracy, the officers that day defended democracy. Most of the officers who are our clients happen to be black men, defended democracy on the front lines that day. And if you think about throughout history, every time there's a violent effort to overthrow democracy, quite often it has something to do with race and white supremacy. You think about the 1960s, the Selma to Montgomery March. You think about January 6th, where the big lie itself was fueled by false allegations of voter fraud in cities with large black voting populations, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Detroit. They didn't go to Des Moines, Iowa. They didn't talk about, Katy, Texas. They're talking about cities where there are large numbers of black and brown voters.
Damon, let me tell you, I grew up Baptist, and where I'm from, I would say you about to preach right now. You preaching. Damon, I want to continue this conversation with you. So in one of these shows where I'm filling in or hosting my own show, you are going to come back because this is a story we are all watching. Damon Hewitt, thank you for being here today.